DeepSeek will excite the US stock market or crush it. The sharp decline of NVIDIA's stock price won't last long nor drop significantly. Let me provide an objective analysis from the perspectives of technology and practical applications. Currently, there are two groups of people on the internet. One group claims that DeepSeek has achieved a comprehensive victory, while the other group says that DeepSeek is fake and all this is just a flash in the pan. I can clearly tell you that both groups are completely clueless. They're just clueless in different ways, one on the left side, the other on the right side. That's all. I won't beat around the bush and will directly state the analysis conclusions. First, NVIDIA and its related stocks will experience a decline, but not as much as you might imagine, nor will it last that long. Second, the DeepSeek software and its code indeed have the capabilities, and it was developed by a truly capable team, which is also a fact. Third, the AI bubble is not like what is said online, nor will it be pricked as you think and then disappear completely. Instead, this so-called AI bubble has actually been blown even bigger. Fourth, the emergence of DeepSeek doesn't mean that chat has become completely worthless trash. The correct understanding is that chat is still one of the top, not artificial intelligences, but now DeepSeek is on par with it. Fifth, the greatest contribution of DeepSeek to the world is not that it crashed the US stock market or embarrassed chat, but that it has significantly reduced the cost of applying AI, enabling us to see the entry of strong artificial intelligence applications into thousands of households in the near future. This fifth point one just mentioned is actually the greatest practical and positive significance that DeepSeek's emergence brings to the world. Okay, now let's talk about the analysis process. Firstly, the biggest controversy surrounding DeepSeek is probably the suspicion of plagiarism, piracy, or code theft. I've roughly searched for relevant information. Currently, there is a clue that in the early versions of DeepSeek, if you ask DeepSeek who it was, it would say it was GPT, and you can more or less see similar screenshots circulating online. In fact, this matter isn't that mysterious. I can directly state my speculation. First of all, we need to know that the company developing DeepSeek is a quantitative trading team, not a professional computer software company. So I guess this team might have obtained the open-source code of OpenAI in the early days, when OpenAI hadn't started closing its doors. As we all know, OpenAI was later nicknamed Closey because it stopped being openly sourced in the later stage. Then this quantitative trading company was likely to have taken the openly sourced OpenAI code in the early days and carried out secondary in-depth development on its own, followed by various subsequent iterative upgrades. During this iterative upgrade process, this Chinese company's team should have achieved a relatively significant improvement or breakthrough in a certain sense and realized a low-cost training mode, which is its greatest contribution. So in the early versions of DeepSeek, if you asked it who it was, DeepSeek might inexplicably answer, "I'm GPT-4. This is because the set of logic is actually a clear-cut rule in the open source community, not some unwritten rule. Other developers can take it for secondary modification or development. However, there is a kind of convention. If you take something developed by another open source team for modification or in-depth secondary development, then you have an obligation to release your developed results for free." So the DeepSeek team actually did this. They released their source code directly. Their meaning is very clear. They took the early version of chat, conducted in-depth research and development, reduced the cost, and improved the operation efficiency. Then they renamed it DeepSeek. And they also abide by this convention and release it for free again. Whether it's a European team, a South American team, a North American team, or a team from Japan or South Korea, they can take it and use it as they like. Originally, companies like OpenAI, NVIDIA, or people like Jensen Huang and Sam Altman sent out a signal to the outside world at the beginning. If any company didn't have an AI business, what should it do? It had to come up with billions, tens of billions, or even hundreds of billions of US dollars. Then desperately buy graphics cards, buy like crazy, buy as many as possible. It also had to build extremely large data centers and hire huge teams of mathematical geniuses or programmers to conduct crazy rounds of training. The cost control was set at billions of dollars. This was the set of statements released by these Silicon Valley and Wall Street bigwigs in the United States to the outside world. Now that DeepSeek has emerged, it has proven that this doesn't require that much investment. So people started to lose confidence in NVIDIA's stock price. You boasted so much before, but now it turns out that it doesn't need that much so naturally. NVIDIA's stock price dropped. That's the simple logic. There is also a misunderstanding. The emergence of DeepSeek doesn't mean that chat has become useless trash. From all the current test results, in terms of the intelligence or computing power of the latest versions of DeepSeek and chat, judging from the output results, they are on a par. When you ask certain questions, ChatGPT may give you a better answer. When you ask some math-related questions, perhaps DeepSeek can give you a better answer. This depends on the different focuses in various fields. Maybe DeepSeek is better at questions related to mathematics, physics, and chemistry. This point must be clearly distinguished. ChatGPT is still very strong and remains one of the top-notch ones. It's just that DeepSeek is now on par with it. Moreover, DeepSeek has the advantages of lower costs and possibly faster speeds. Based on the above two-point analysis, we can understand one thing. Both DeepSeek and chat are both very strong. It's just chat came first, and then DeepSeek. Finally, let me explain why I say that the stock prices of NVIDIA and its related companies won't decline for as long or as severely as you might think. The reason is simple. DeepSeek proves that an AI business doesn't require such high costs. There is still a cost, but it has been greatly reduced. This leads to a long-term positive. So AI-related applications and products could enter thousands of households in the near future. Because the cost has been reduced, they can be accessible to the public. This is similar to the process of the invention of the computer. When the world's first computer was invented, it was as large as several rooms, or even several houses. Such a computer couldn't be used at home. It could only be operated by professional institutions. Later, after long-term iterative upgrades, computers became smaller, evolving into desktop computers, then laptops, and now the mobile phone in your hand, which is also a highly performing computing device. Even if you have an Android phone or an iPhone with an older version in your hands today, its computing power is many times stronger than that of a computer decades ago. I believe you can probably understand what will happen next. That is, the application of AI devices will be thoroughly popularized and enter thousands of households. This is the greatest contribution of DeepSeek to the world. It has accelerated the process of the computer shrinking from the size of a house to the size of a palm. In the future, intelligent devices will no longer require several buildings or huge supercomputer rooms. They will gradually become smaller, maybe in a dozen or 20 years, perhaps even shorter. An AI device that can respond offline in real time could be reduced to the size of a desktop computer, capable of helping you do things such as editing, drawing, and various other tasks. This is the greatest contribution of DeepSeek. It has achieved miniaturization and low cost and accelerated this process. That's why I said earlier that the stock prices of NVIDIA and its related companies won't decline for as long or as severely as you think. Once the AI wave led by DeepSeek becomes popular and enters thousands of households, it means that the sales of consumer-grade and civilian-grade graphics cards will increase. There will be a situation of one decline and one increase. On the declining side are enterprise-grade graphics cards like the H100, for example. One such graphics card may cost over $100,000, and it may even be more expensive in the future versions. The sales of such graphics cards will decline, or at least they won't be as sought after. On the increasing side are civilian-grade graphics cards like the 4090, 4080, and the upcoming 5090. These graphics cards, originally used for gaming, can gradually be used to run AI programs like DeepSeek. In fact, if you search online now, you can find that some tech enthusiasts have already started doing this. They had downloaded the earliest versions of DeepSeek and started testing and running them on their home computers. They are already using the early versions of DeepSeek to do things, such as generating article content. Some people are already doing this. This will lead to a significant increase in the sales of consumer-grade graphics cards of NVIDIA and its competitors like AMD in the later stages. Of course, it may not happen immediately, but it will occur in the near future. I believe that Wall Street and various capital tycoons may have already started paying attention to this. Therefore, the stock prices of NVIDIA and its related companies won't decline for as long or as severely. The bubble blown by Jensen Huang and Sam Altman has been truly solidified by DeepSeek. It may no longer be a bubble, and there is indeed such a large consumer market. Anyway, NVIDIA, OpenAI should try to lower their cost ASAP. Find reliable and lower-cost suppliers, and try to reduce their personnel costs. Then can compete with Huawei, DeepSeek, and other Chinese companies, and other competitors from other countries. If US can do this well, then US can still lead the world. High-tech stocks will continue to rise upper.